Hi traders, I'm here with another trading recap video for the week of December the 3rd through December the 7th. So I am right now focusing on short selling just because the market environment is such that it kind of favors the short sellers at the moment, in my opinion. There's still some good long setups, I guess, but I am just going to follow the market environment and make money where I'm comfortable. So here you go. Let's get started with our trading recap. Um, so let's start with December the 3rd, Monday. So I traded the ticker OGEN. So this was day 3 of the spike. I let it spike for the first 2 days, didn't touch it. And on day 3, this stock is already up from 81 cents to all the way to 167. So I was watching this. So it made this. It spiked in the morning, and then made this low right here, and came back up, and then puts on this red candle right here. So I was interested in this stock because if you look at the daily chart. When it had this big long run up, the next time it tried to bounce, it topped out at 188 right here. So the fact that it's struggling at 167 area was a good place to short because you can either risk the 188 or you can even risk the 167 and then and then add risk 167 and then cut your loss and short higher if and when it gets closer to 188 area. So anyways, that was my plan. Risking the 167, I took my short, and then I wanted to stay patient as long as it makes a lower high and then kind of fades. And that's exactly what it did, so I kind of stayed patient with that. So my goal was to cover some to the low of the day and then cover some at the red-green area. So I just followed my plan to the perfect. The red-green, it was 131, and I covered at 128 the rest. I covered some at 147, covered the rest at 128. So it was a nice low profit right there. So that was on Monday. And on same day, I also made a trade with AETI. Again, I made a mess of the long setup. I entered that and got out here. For some reason, I didn't have my plan written down on this trade, which is probably why I kind of lost money on there. And there was a little short, made some money on it, I guess, but I don't think this is a good trade. So. And kind of no plan kind of trade. So I was watching this making lower highs and then I wanted this to like break out, I guess. But the stock is already up 184 while it's trading here. So in here, it's probably up like over 200%. So not a good ideal long setup in my opinion. But I traded it anyways and lost money. The next day, I think I did a pretty decent job with this trade, AETI. So I was watching this spike in the morning. The previous day high was 155. So I wanted to take a short position, somewhere close to that area, and it spiked to 147. And then when it came back down, so I shorted at 141, risking the previous high of 155. But then the way it held the VWAP area, it looked to me on level 2, there's good support at 134, 135 area. So, I didn't want to risk 155 anymore. And the fact that it broke that 145 and made that 147 as the high and came back down and consolidating, I was not comfortable anymore. So when in doubt, I always just get out because, what the heck? It's my trade. I decide what I want to do, right? So I got out at 136 here. And my I was kind of right in my thinking here because it did break 155 and went all the way and made a high at 170. When it came back down, for some reason, I shorted it because I did see weakness, so I shorted it at 156. And I have no idea why I covered it at 162. Probably freaked out. That was a waste of a mental energy right there. But at this point, I said to myself, I want to wait for this to really show me weakness, and then I wanted to tap. And that's exactly what he did. And I saw this making this low here at 151 area, holding this high right here at 147 basically. Um, it made another attempt to break, but didn't. But when it broke here, that 147 area, I got interested. So I took a short position at 150 and covered some right here. I was not patient with that trade, so covered some here and covered the rest right here at 130 because I wasn't really expecting it to go down and fade all day. So just happy with small profit. So that was my trade. Nice little 10% again. Um, can't complain. So good trade. And then here is another long setup where I lost money. And you can see, I don't want to go over it. Buying a HOD breakout. And then I was trading this on the phone too. I was at work and trying to get out as it was panicking. So lost a little big on this. Not a trade I should have taken, but you're going to make a mistakes like that in your trading. So anyways, the next day I saw this gapping down. Green red was 206. So it wasn't like gapping down huge or anything. It went to 206, slammed right back down to $2. So I took a short position here at 203, risking that 206 area. And I really wanted to cover at a leg down at 190, lower 190s or 180s, because the stock was up over 100% the previous day. I thought it would at least go down, like give me at least like 10 to 15% on the downside. But instead it broke out. I just cut my loss. So even though it closed lower than my entry, I was still proud of myself in sticking to my plan and got out. It could have very well squeezed a lot higher. So I'm happy that I stuck to my plan, even though I lost, a tiny bit on it. So here you go. My next two trades on the 7th was TNXP and TENX. I didn't trade any of them. I didn't catch the meat of the move, but I did trade pretty decent with that. So I wasn't watching the stock at all. I should have, but the time I watched it is after it got halted, right? And I think they came up with the offering news on the midday, and offering was at 350. So I wanted to short somewhere close to $4, right, and then cover at 350. For some reason, I didn't even put down my cover. Short order. So it just slams right back down, and I didn't really want to short after it took down that 350 because this was my first time actually trading in the middle of the offering. So I wanted to see how it reacts. It goes all the way down to 284. It's way below its offering price. So I thought it will bounce and give me a decent place to short, but it was struggling. It wasn't bouncing. It was really struggling. There's a lot more sellers on level 2. So I just took my short position at $3 area. And then as it was not really breaking down or breaking out from that 305, it was basically trading in a channel between 290 and 305. So when it trades in a channel like that, goes sideways, I'm never comfortable. So just, I wanted to take out or cover in my the lower end of the channel. I was really glad that it gave me that little push down here and covered at 288. I mean, a good small trade. I think there was a good maybe 10%, I think, gain right there. Uh, and then TNX, again, another trade. I didn't partake on this drop at all. I should have, looking at the um, chart. But the good thing with these kind of plays is that I can be a little more aggressive next time, right? Because I've seen a couple of plays, the way it works out when the when they have the offering news out. Um, I mean, I really wasn't comfortable chasing the weakness here. So in a way, I'm glad I didn't trade it. Um, but I also kind of like sad that I missed out. Anyways, I traded this right here, watching this stock making this huge move in the morning, and then it was consolidating below VWAP. I got kind of interested. I wanted to see this breaking the support area. It held all morning basically. When it broke, I got interested, shorted at 383, risking that support area because I thought this would work as a resistance, and it did, at least for that short moment, right? It held, and then my goal was to cover into this support right here, because I wasn't really expecting this to go down all the way it did. I'm not a psychic that I was expecting it to come up with an offering in the midday. So, anyways, so I covered at 351, nice 30 cents profit right there, and then it spikes. Had I not covered, I would have covered right here on this into this break, because I mean that's my risk, right? So I'm glad I covered, and then the news hits, just slams right down. I was trying to actually short at 250, couldn't get filled. Anyways, that was my trade for the week, and pretty decent week. Two loss, and the rest of them were winners, and did a lot better than last week, and that was the goal, right? Um, Cut down on your losses and do better on your winners. And I think I did that pretty well this week. Looking forward to trade better next week, and I hope you do the same. Good luck to everyone. Have a wonderful week ahead.